Modernism was a literary, artistic, and cultural movement and started in 20th century. Modernists wanted to create a new age. They interrupted the father-to-son transmission of traditions like arts, literature, science, and religion. This way of thinking was influenced by the new scientific discoveries such as Einstein's theory of relativity, which explain how all true is relative. Not even space and time can be considered as an absolutely true. The new quantum mechanics by Max Planck, Harry Bergson, and his distinction between objective linear time and subject psychological time. Simon Freud's psychoanalysis, which explained that man is also influenced by subconscious day instincts. All these factors brought to the end of positivistic faith in science and progress. There is no faith in the future, but also no consolation in the past. Only the present is important. Extra pound. Modern poetry began with imagism, invented by the American poet Ezra Pound. Images use a clear and precise image that are represented through very short poems. In this Pound was inspired by haiku poems. These languages, as Chinese and Japanese, are pictographic, meaning that every abstract word is the equivalent of a concrete picture. In a station of the metro. The most famous example is in a station of the metro. It is the shortest poem in a modern poetry. It is a two-line poem. The title makes us understand where we are. The apparition of these faces in the crowd, petals on a wet black booth. So, as a Pound is walking through the streets of Paris, he sees crowds of people coming out of the subway. These seem to him to be figures that come from the world of death. Their faces are like petals on a black booth. Pound uses paradoxes. Poet aims for essentiality. This also comes from a perception of life. The truth is something you can only reach by cutting away endless rhetoric. Apart from the title, there are not a reference to space and time. We are in Paris, but we could be anywhere and at any time. The time is now, the present. This is an image of modernity, but it's also the picture of an underground, the Paris underground, that recalls the classical tradition like Homer, Virgil and Dante. The Cantus. The Cantus, it is the longest poem in a modern poetry. The Cantus is a series of images, poems that literally means the songs. Pound wants to revive and transmit the past in a living way, to make the past present. Pound, unlike Thomas Eliot, prefers translating to quoting. Translating means making a live in a modern term. Quoting means reporting a dead voice from the past. With usura. Observing the dynamics of the First World War, Pound reflects on the economy and societies. In the poem With Usura, Canto 45th on the Cantus, Pound talks about usury as the act of lending money and having returned the same money with interest, and explain how it is a thing against nature. Before, the economic process was a commodity money commodity. Now, with the capitalism, the system is a money commodity money, which becomes what Karl Marx called The Capital, Heterogenesis of Hans, Hegel, and Marx. Pound's anti-capitalism and his economic idea are in some ways the intellectual origin of both his interest in fascism and anti-Semitism view.